name's Michael Watkins, and as you hopefully know, I'm running for VP Campus Life. And I'll start things off just by sort of explaining a little bit about myself, and then I'll launch into some of the ideas that I have for next year. So I'm a second-year bio student here at Mount Allison, and I've lived on campus in Hartwell Hall for 2 years. I'm definitely a people person. I love talking and listening, and I often spend a lot of time just hanging out instead of doing schoolwork. But hey, you know. Over the past 2 years, I've been involved with things like SMILE and Global Brigade, and actually this past year I've had the pleasure of serving a term as the president of Harper. That experience has given me a ton of knowledge and experience to sort of move forward into next year as VP Campus Life, if elected. Such things as event planning. I've had the opportunity to work planning events such as Havoc, which is also a large part of the VP Campus Life portfolio, planning big campus-wide events such as the A-Spears and Relay for Life, etc. Being president has given me the opportunity to build working relationships with some of the administration here on campus, such as housing and such as student life, which are two big departments that the VP Campus Life tends to work with. Being an exec member in a house has given me the opportunity to sort of figure out how an exec works and how you can make your voice heard in a group of 6 to 5 really opinionated people. So that's enough about me. Moving on to some ideas for next year. You guys all, if you've lived on campus, you know about RAs. They're a really vital part to what makes residence life in Mount Allison so great. And as of now, one of the qualifications that you need to be an RA is standard first aid training. But not only do the candidates have to seek out this training by themselves, they also have to pay for it themselves. And because they're such a vital part of the residence experience at Mount Allison, it seems that administration should be at least reimbursing these candidates for this training. You guys know the campus here. It's a safe place. It's a good place to be. But it'd be really great if we could implement some sort of safe walk home program where you can call up, stay at CP, and if you're at the library studying really late, or if you're walking home alone from the pub, then you have this opportunity to sort of have a buddy to walk with you from point A to point B, just to ensure that you're just that much more safe. There's a couple of things that have sort of been put in place or are being put in place this year, like the health and dental plan and like the Mount A helpline, which I hope to have the opportunity to support if elected. I'd love to give the opportunity to sort of help run the events here on campus. The advocacy part of things, I feel really strongly about that sort of side of things. So co-curricular experience you guys have, I'd love to be given the opportunity to sort of be able to be an effective and impactful voice when it comes to bringing up the administration. Thank you very much.
I'm running for re-election for Vice President of External Affairs. Just wanted to spend tonight telling you guys what Vice President of External Affairs does, what I learned this year, and what my goals are for next year. So Vice President of External Affairs is a student union's representative to all the organizations and groups outside of the Mount A campus. I moved here 4 years ago from BC, and I fell in love with this place. This place is my home. New Brunswick is my home. And last year I ran for this position because I wanted to help give back. And this year I'm running again because I don't feel I'm done. So I'd like to get the opportunity to give back. This year has meant a rebirth for the SAC and the students in this town. More students are getting involved than ever before from the Farmers Market Project, which is an ongoing thing. I encourage you guys all to check it out. We'll have some volunteering at football camps here in the summer or spring break. So that's been really good. Next year, I have got some ideas for how to move forward. I'm currently working on a better way to get information to people who are living off campus or want to move off campus about landlords and housing, something that SAC's always kind of struggled with. But I'd love to be around for next year to see that into implementation in September. In terms of experience, I was served as a senator last year, and this year as VP External Affairs, I am the treasurer of the New Brunswick Student Alliance, which is the provincial lobbying group. I am the vice chair of the Canadian Alliance of Student Associations Policy Committee, and I also oversee the Green Investment Fund and the application process the new application process that was brought about this year. So I encourage you all to go on Facebook, check out my other ideas for next year, my other events. Thank you all for listening, and hope you enjoyed tonight.
Hello everybody, my name is Stephen Spence, and I am also running for Vice President of External Affairs for next year. I tried to say the name of the year yesterday, and it just didn't work out, so I'm not going to bother. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm an RA over in the Anchorage in the satellite community. So I want to tell you that the best part of my first year was being a counselor on the SAC. I really enjoyed it because I enjoyed working with and meeting people. And at council, I was always a vocal individual, ready to speak up for the needs of my constituents. It was in this way that we succeeded in having the satellites recognized as a legitimate residence community, not only by the SAC, but by the university as a whole. The truth is, I loved being on the SAC. It meant I could serve my community. More importantly, it meant that I could make a positive difference in that community. I can't wait to make these same positive differences in a role as VP External. I enjoyed every part of being a counselor, and as I saw it, there were three main responsibilities that I had. I had to listen to and participate in council debates, I had to talk to my community, and I had to represent the satellites to the greater Mount A community. Still, I have not been able to decide which of these I enjoyed more. I loved going to these debates and participating in and listening to these debates that for many seem like they go on forever. I love talking to my community because the people of Mount A are some of the greatest resources we have. And listening to them and the issues they believe in really puts everything else in perspective. And finally, I loved representing the satellites. In this context, it meant representing the satellites to the other resident communities, but also to the off-campus community. The satellites have so much to offer, and for me, the satellites were representative of Mount Allison as a whole. Mount Allison has so much to offer, and so many great things to talk about. And I would love to do this as a VP External, to represent us on an external level. The politics of any province are quite intricate, and they require a great deal of context. I've grown up in New Brunswick my whole life. The politics and everything about this province are in my blood. So when it comes to the politics of New Brunswick, I feel I have a home field advantage. Not only do I know the politics of this province, but I've lived, the same areas that I've called home are the same areas that political officials have represented. For instance, my backyard is represented by Margaret Ann Blaine, who is the member of the Legislative Assembly for Rothsay, but also the Minister of the Environment and Minister responsible for Communications New Brunswick. But my front yard is represented by the Minister of Finance. As your VP External, I'll concentrate on three main areas. I want to make sure that we have a strong voice at CASA, a strong voice at the NBSA, and a better relationship with the town that can communicate better all the proper opportunities and to get involved in the community. I love jobs like this. I want a stronger student population with a more powerful voice. Louis Riel once said, "I have nothing but my heart, and I have given it long ago to my country." In the same way, Mount A, I promise you my heart. I'm ready to make your voice heard, and all that's left for you is to vote. Thank you.
And I am running for Vice President of Academic this year. To give you guys a little bit about me in the next 2.5 minutes, I'm a third-year student currently pursuing my honors in environmental studies with a major in international relations. I'm originally from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I like to laugh, I like to make people laugh, I love to play soccer, and when I was 5 years old, I split my head open pretending to be the Stampede from the Lion King. Now, as far as what I hope to do with this position next year, there's kind of three main issues that I really hope to tackle. The first of which is making the extended library hours a permanent fixture, so making sure that it's included in the budget for next year. And not only that the library is kept open for that period, but also making sure that the regular services that are there throughout the rest of the period are also available during that time, so like the help desk, the circulation desk, etc. Secondly, I want to look at scholarship retention. It's a very big issue, and it's something that's it's a hard issue to push with the university, so it's something that's got to be taken little by little. But my hopes is for next year to really allow us to have the first year scholarship retention GPA requirements reduced from 3.7 to 3.5. Basically, the reason for focusing on first-year students is because they have the same academic and economic stress or financial stress that all of us do, but they also have that added social pressure of being in their first year. And lastly, I want to look at textbooks and finding out ways that we can get around paying, show of hands, I did this before, but who's paid more than $100 for a textbook? Yeah. Ways of getting around everybody but I think 2 people over here. Anyway, I want to find ways to get around that. So, looking at professors, trying to communicate them, build up relationships, and ask them to work with older versions of textbooks as well as the new version, giving corresponding page numbers, and also really promoting the SAC Youth book sale, trying to build that up because essentially, if you're selling your books at the Sacky's book sale, you're going to get more money than you are going to down in the bookstore. And if you're buying books at the Sacky's book sale, you're going to be paying less money. So it's a win-win situation for everybody but the bookstore. But we're acting on behalf of students here, so we're really the ones that count. Other than that, just a little bit about my background on the SAC. This past year, I served as a social science senator, working under the wonderful Nathan Walker, the current VB academic. So I was asked to say that. Anyway, so I sat on the Senate, which is the highest academic body of the university. And I also sat on the Academic Matters Committee, which approves any changes to the academic calendar. And I also served as the Environmental Affairs Coordinator for the SAC this year, and with a fantastic committee, a couple of them are here, we re-evaluated the application process for that and have made it a much more efficient fund. If you have any questions, I guess I'm going to hear them next. If not, if you can ask me via email or Facebook or stop me anywhere. Thanks, guys.